The writers of Rick and Morty are making a Marvel show. And this is going to prove to be very interesting. She-Hulk is the latest series brought to us from the MCU, and it's now streaming on Disney+. It stars Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. She-Hulk follows the story of a young lawyer who is struggling to make it in a very dominated male world, and along the way she encounters her old cousin, Bruce Banner. And when they do, they get into a vehicle accident. She gets blood of his into her, and this causes her to have Hulk blood, and she has to learn how to control her powers while maintaining her social life and also understanding what it really means to be a hero. I was very excited when they announced there would be a She-Hulk show because I love She-Hulk. I think it's a really great concept that they came up with. When they started panning out and saying who was going to work on it and things like that and the style they were going for, I began to lose a little more interest in it. But I still had some hopes despite the fact the first trailer didn't make it look very impressive. And about the CG in here, guys, how everyone thought that was just, you know, unfinished. It's finished. That's how She-Hulk looks the entire show. And not only She-Hulk, this is how Hulk looks in any other character that involves any form of CGI. The CGI in the show is atrocious, to say the least. But I'm going to save bashing the visual effects for later. And first, I'm going to talk about the actual series, the plot, and the performances. Everyone in here does a fine job. They're all good. No one is exactly killing it. No one's giving an Emmy Award-winning performance here. It's just fine. It's serviceable enough that it's there. The plot, I think the first half of the season was honestly terrible. I did not like it at all. Like, I was having zero fun with the show. It just felt really generic. It felt like the same thing I've been seeing again and again and again. It just wasn't treading any new territory. I also think the fact that this show is a comedy, that never resonated with me. I think She-Hulk should have not gone in that direction necessarily. I'm not a big fan of the comedic way they're using this. And it felt a little odd, but it does pick up in the second half of the season. It gets a little better, and then they start getting some more compelling plots, better writing. And I'd say that it seems like the production finally got a grasp on themselves in the second half of the season. But before then, it just doesn't really work for me. And even afterwards, it still just doesn't really work for me. I'm just not a big fan of the show. It might just be that I'm getting superhero fatigue at this point because there's just so much at this point that's just coming out. And unless you're going to do something that's completely different or something so amazing that it's going to blow me out of the water like No Way Home or the Snyder Cut, I'm probably not going to really talk about you that much because there's just not much to you. And this show's like that. There's just not a lot to it. It's just kind of there. It keeps going. It progresses. And it moves. And it keeps going. But there's nothing that hooked me. There's nothing that ever made me want to come back for the next episode. The humor also, for a comedy and for being Marvel, wasn't all that great. Sometimes it was really basic comedy that, like, seems a little childish, and at times wasn't all that great. I just wasn't a big fan of the show. It was fine. It just, that's all. But that was all I can give it. There was nothing in the show that made me love it or really like it. It just was something that felt like a Saturday program you would turn on and just watch. Like, that's it. And the visual effects, as I said earlier, are just horrible in here. I don't know what's going on with Marvel. I don't know if they are just trying to rush everything. I don't know if the staff is overworked, but they've got to pick up their game here. This is not what the MCU should look like with CG. It should look way, way better than this. But anyway, so aside from that, yeah, basically everything in here is just fine, I'd say. Second half season picks up a little bit, but I don't know, I just didn't have a lot of fun with the show. I'd say if you're a big Marvel fan, go watch it. If you're not a big Marvel fan, don't watch it. Just, you're probably not going to enjoy yourself very much, and there's not much really to get out of it. So, with that said, let's give it a rating. I'm going to give She-Hulk a 4 out of 10. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see y'all next time.